In the vast frozen landscapes of the Southern Hemisphere, where the wind carves patterns across endless fields of ice and the ocean breathes beneath thick layers of drifting pack ice, one of the most remarkable birds on Earth has perfected a life that defies expectations. Penguins stand as living proof that evolution does not always follow the obvious path. While most birds took to the skies, mastering the art of flight, penguins chose a radically different direction. They surrendered the sky and instead conquered the sea. The story of penguins begins tens of millions of years ago, long before the Antarctic continent was locked in its modern icy grip. Fossil evidence suggests that the ancestors of modern penguins first emerged shortly after the mass extinction event that ended the age of dinosaurs approximately 66 million years ago. During this period, the oceans were teeming with life, and birds were diversifying into an astonishing range of ecological roles. Among these early seabirds were the primitive relatives of penguins, birds that likely possessed the ability to fly but spent increasing amounts of time in the water searching for food. Over countless generations, natural selection began reshaping these birds. Wings that were once designed for flight gradually transformed into powerful flippers capable of slicing through water with extraordinary efficiency. Bones became denser, reducing buoyancy and allowing deeper dives. Feathers evolved into tightly packed, waterproof insulation capable of trapping warmth even in near-freezing seas. Slowly but decisively, the ancestors of penguins abandoned flight entirely. What they lost in aerial mobility they gained in underwater mastery. Today, penguins represent one of the most specialized groups of birds in existence. Their bodies are perfectly engineered for life in the ocean. A penguin's shape is streamlined, almost torpedo-like, minimizing drag as it swims. Their powerful flippers propel them forward with astonishing speed, sometimes reaching bursts of over 15 miles per hour beneath the surface. To a human observer, watching a penguin underwater can feel like witnessing flight in a different medium. In the ocean, penguins do not merely swim, they fly through water. Their coloration is equally remarkable and serves a critical purpose in the dangerous marine environment. Penguins exhibit a form of camouflage known as countershading. Their backs are dark, blending with the depths of the ocean when viewed from above by predators such as seals or sharks. Their bellies are bright white, making them nearly invisible when seen from below against the shimmering surface of the water. This simple yet elegant evolutionary solution dramatically increases their chances of survival in waters filled with hungry hunters. But penguins are not simply swimmers, they are highly efficient predators. Their diet primarily consists of fish, squid, and krill, tiny shrimp-like crustaceans that form the foundation of many Antarctic food webs. Hunting often takes place beneath the ice, where penguins navigate an alien world of blue light and drifting shadows. Using their exceptional vision, adapted for both air and water, they track schools of prey with precision. When the moment is right, they accelerate forward, snapping their beaks with lightning speed. Different penguin species have evolved distinct hunting strategies depending on their environment. Some dive relatively shallow waters close to shore, while others plunge hundreds of meters into the dark depths of the open ocean. Emperor penguins, the largest of all penguin species, are particularly famous for their diving abilities. These birds can reach depths exceeding 500 meters and remain underwater for more than 20 minutes, feats that place them among the most accomplished divers in the bird world. Yet despite their formidable abilities in the ocean, penguins remain deeply connected to the land, or more precisely, to the ice and rocky shores where they gather in massive colonies. Unlike many birds that maintain loose social groups, penguins often form densely packed communities numbering in the tens or even hundreds of thousands. From a distance, these colonies resemble living cities of black and white figures scattered across the frozen landscape. The reasons for this extraordinary social behavior are rooted in survival. Antarctica and other southern habitats present extreme environmental challenges. Temperatures can plunge far below freezing, and winds can reach hurricane strength. By clustering together, penguins reduce heat loss and increase their chances of surviving the brutal climate. In many species, this communal strategy becomes most dramatic during the breeding season, when thousands of birds gather to raise the next generation. Penguin reproduction is a carefully timed event shaped by the rhythms of the polar environment. Many species breed during the Antarctic summer, when sunlight returns to the continent and the surrounding oceans explode with life. Food becomes abundant, allowing parents to travel between the colony and the sea to feed their chicks. Among the most extraordinary breeding strategies in the animal kingdom belongs to the emperor penguin. These birds undertake their reproductive cycle during the harsh Antarctic winter, when darkness and cold dominate the landscape. After laying a single egg, the female transfers it carefully to the male, balancing it on his feet beneath a fold of warm skin known as the brood pouch. She then returns to the ocean to feed, leaving the male behind to incubate the egg in temperatures that can drop below -40 degrees Celsius. For nearly 2 months, the male emperor penguin stands almost motionless, enduring storms and freezing winds while protecting the fragile egg from the lethal cold of the ice beneath him. During this time he does not eat. Instead, he survives entirely on stored body fat while waiting for the female to return from the sea. This remarkable act of endurance highlights one of the defining features of penguin life: cooperation between parents. When the chick finally hatches, both mother and father share the responsibility of feeding and protecting their offspring. The chick must grow quickly before the short Antarctic summer ends and the sea ice begins to expand once more. Beyond the biological adaptations, penguins also play a vital ecological role in the Southern Ocean. As mid-level predators, they help regulate populations of fish and krill while simultaneously serving as prey for larger animals such as leopard seals and orcas. Their presence reflects the overall health of marine ecosystems, making them valuable indicators for scientists studying climate change and ocean productivity. Despite their resilience, penguins face increasing challenges in the modern world. Climate change is altering sea ice patterns, affecting breeding grounds and access to food. Overfishing reduces the availability of krill and fish, while pollution and plastic waste threaten marine habitats. For species already adapted to narrow ecological niches, even small environmental shifts can have profound consequences. Yet the story of penguins is not merely one of vulnerability. It is also a story of extraordinary resilience. These birds have survived dramatic climatic changes over millions of years, adapting again and again to shifting oceans and landscapes. Their continued survival will depend not only on their remarkable evolutionary heritage but also on humanity's willingness to protect the fragile ecosystems they call home. In the silent, wind-swept expanses of Antarctica, a colony of penguins stands against the horizon, their silhouettes stark against the white ice. They are creatures shaped by ice, sea, and time itself, living reminders that life can flourish even in the most unforgiving corners of our planet. Far from the frozen surface where penguins gather in vast colonies, the true arena of their lives lies beneath the ocean. The Southern Ocean is one of the most extreme marine environments on Earth, a restless expanse of icy water driven by powerful currents that circle the Antarctic continent. Here, in temperatures that would quickly numb most creatures, penguins perform some of the most remarkable feats of endurance and precision found anywhere in the animal kingdom. When a penguin dives into the sea, its entire physiology shifts into a mode optimized for survival in the depths. The transformation is almost instantaneous. The bird that waddled awkwardly across the ice becomes a streamlined torpedo the moment it enters the water. Its wings, evolved into rigid flippers, beat rhythmically as it propels itself through the ocean with astonishing speed and grace. Each stroke sends it gliding forward through the dense water, leaving a trail of shimmering bubbles behind. The mechanics of penguin swimming are closer to the flight of birds than to the paddling motion of most aquatic animals. Their flippers do not simply push water backward, they generate lift in a manner similar to aircraft wings, allowing penguins to fly underwater with remarkable efficiency. This design minimizes energy loss and enables them to travel great distances while hunting. Speed is essential in this environment, where predators and prey exist in a constant race for survival. Penguins often pursue schools of fish or swarms of krill, weaving through the water with sudden bursts of acceleration. Their bodies are shaped to reduce turbulence, and the dense bones allow them to dive quickly without excessive buoyancy slowing them down. Some penguin species dive only briefly, rarely exceeding depths of 30 or 40 meters. Others, however, push the limits of avian physiology. Emperor penguins are capable of descending to extraordinary depths in search of food, reaching hundreds of meters below the surface where sunlight fades into a deep blue twilight. At such depths, pressure increases dramatically, yet the penguin's body is perfectly adapted to withstand it. One of the secrets behind these deep dives lies in the penguin's ability to manage oxygen with incredible efficiency. Before diving, a penguin fills its lungs and bloodstream with oxygen. Specialized proteins in its muscles store additional reserves, allowing the bird to remain submerged far longer than most birds could survive. As the dive progresses, the penguin's heart rate slows dramatically, conserving oxygen for the brain and vital organs while reducing energy consumption. This remarkable adaptation allows certain species to remain underwater for more than 15 minutes, sometimes even longer. During this time they travel through a three-dimensional hunting ground where prey may be scattered across vast distances. The penguin must rely on both instinct and experience to locate food in this dim underwater world. Vision plays a critical role in this pursuit. Penguins possess eyes that function effectively both above and below the surface. Underwater, their eyes adjust to focus sharply in the refractive conditions of the ocean, allowing them to detect the subtle movement of fish or krill even in low light. Many species hunt in groups, moving through the water like coordinated squadrons as they drive prey into tighter formations. Krill, though tiny individually, often gather in immense swarms containing millions of individuals. These clouds of crustaceans form a vital food source for penguins and many other marine animals. A penguin encountering such a swarm may feed rapidly, snapping its beak repeatedly while filtering water through specialized structures in its mouth that trap the small creatures. Fish provide another essential food source, especially for larger penguin species. These hunts require greater speed and precision. The penguin approaches silently, adjusting its angle of attack before lunging forward in a sudden burst of motion. Its beak closes around the prey in a fraction of a second, and the fish is swallowed whole before the chase continues. Yet hunting success is never guaranteed. The ocean is filled with dangers, and penguins must remain constantly alert. Leopard seals patrol the icy waters near many colonies, using stealth tactics of their own to capture unsuspecting penguins returning from feeding trips. These formidable predators are perfectly adapted to the Antarctic environment, possessing powerful jaws capable of crushing bone. When a penguin approaches the shoreline, it often hesitates before entering the water, scanning the surface for signs of danger. Groups of penguins may gather at the edge of the ice, waiting for one individual to take the first plunge. Once the first bird leaps in and survives, the others quickly follow, diving into the ocean in a flurry of splashes. Even in the open ocean, threats remain. Orcas, the apex predators of the sea, occasionally hunt penguins as part of the diverse diet. Although penguins rely on speed and agility to escape, survival ultimately depends on awareness and timing. Despite these dangers, the ocean remains the lifeline of penguin existence. Every successful dive brings nourishment not only for the individual but also for the colony waiting on land. Adult penguins often travel dozens of miles from their nesting sites in search of food, returning with stomachs full of fish or krill that will be regurgitated to feed hungry chicks. The journey between colony and feeding grounds is repeated countless times throughout the breeding season. For parent penguins, these trips represent a delicate balance between risk and responsibility. The longer they remain at sea, the greater the chance of encountering predators, yet the more food they can gather for the growing offspring. Back on land, the colony continues its complex rhythm of life. Tens of thousands of birds stand shoulder to shoulder, each pair maintaining a small territory amid the crowded landscape. The air is filled with an astonishing chorus of calls as adults locate their mates and chicks among the sea of nearly identical birds. Penguins possess an extraordinary ability to recognize individual voices. In the chaos of a massive colony, a parent returning from the ocean must locate its own chick among thousands. Through a unique vocal signature, the chick responds, allowing the parent to navigate through the crowd until the pair is reunited. These reunions are vital moments. The parent leans forward, and the chick eagerly receives the regurgitated meal, consuming nutrients that will fuel its rapid growth. Within a few weeks, the chick begins to develop thicker feathers and stronger muscles, preparing for the day when it will venture into the ocean itself. As the colony grows noisier and more crowded, the landscape around it becomes marked by the presence of thousands of penguins. Paths form across the snow where birds repeatedly travel between nests and the sea. These routes, sometimes called penguin highways by researchers, reveal the patterns of daily life within the colony. Yet even as the colony thrives, the environment around it continues to shift. The Antarctic ecosystem is deeply connected to global climate patterns, and small changes in ocean temperature or sea ice can ripple through the food web. Scientists studying penguins increasingly view them as indicators of environmental change. Because penguins depend so heavily on specific feeding grounds and breeding habitats, fluctuations in their populations often reflect broader ecological transformations. In some regions, warming oceans are altering the distribution of krill, forcing penguins to travel farther for food. In others, melting sea ice disrupts traditional breeding areas. Understanding these changes has become a priority for researchers across the world. Satellite tracking, underwater cameras, and long-term ecological studies now reveal more about penguin behavior than ever before. Each discovery highlights the extraordinary complexity of a life lived between ice and ocean. Still, for the penguins themselves, the daily cycle continues much as it has for thousands of years. Dive, hunt, return, feed the young, and repeat. It is a rhythm dictated by the sea, shaped by instinct, and sustained by one of the most remarkable evolutionary journeys in the natural world. Across the frozen expanse of Antarctica and along the jagged coasts of South America, penguins congregate in colonies that can be likened to living cities. These communities, sometimes containing tens of thousands of individuals, create a complex social structure that balances cooperation, competition, and survival. Each colony is more than a simple gathering of birds. It is an intricate network of relationships, pathways, and hierarchies that ensure both individual and collective persistence in an environment that is as unforgiving as it is spectacular. Within these colonies, penguins establish territories that are surprisingly well defined given the density of the population. Each pair claims a small patch of ice or gravel upon which to construct a nest, often adorned with stones or pebbles gathered from surrounding areas. These nests serve not only as protective spaces for eggs and chicks but also as a social marker, signaling to neighboring pairs the boundaries of their claim. Despite close quarters, penguins engage in ritualized behaviors to maintain order and minimize conflict. Vocalizations, body posturing, and synchronized movements communicate intentions and prevent unnecessary disputes. Parenting is one of the most remarkable aspects of penguins' social life. From the moment an egg is laid, parents share an intricate pattern of care that combines endurance, strategy, and cooperation. In emperor penguins, the male's incubation duties during the Antarctic winter showcase an extraordinary blend of resilience and commitment. The female, after laying the egg, returns to the ocean to feed, leaving the male to balance the egg on his feet beneath a protective brood pouch. For nearly 2 months, he withstands extreme temperatures and relentless winds, fasting while preserving the egg's warmth. When the chick hatches, parents alternate feeding trips, ensuring that the vulnerable offspring receives nourishment and protection without interruption. Chicks themselves develop rapidly in response to environmental pressures. Their downy feathers provide initial insulation, but as they grow, juvenile penguins develop waterproof plumage essential for swimming and diving. Parents teach them indirectly, through the rhythm of care, movement, and feeding patterns, how to navigate the dangers of both land and sea. Within the colony, young penguins learn to recognize vocal cues, social signals, and territorial boundaries, skills crucial for their survival once they leave the nest and eventually venture into the ocean. Species differences further enhance the richness of penguin behavior. While emperor and king penguins dominate in cold Antarctic regions, species such as Magellanic, Humboldt, and African penguins occupy temperate coastal zones. Each species has adapted its nesting, feeding, and social strategies to fit local conditions. Magellanic penguins, for example, dig burrows to protect their eggs from heat and predators, while African penguins, exposed to warmer climates, rely on shade and social huddling to regulate temperature. Across all species, however, a unifying theme persists: community-driven survival in a challenging world. Predation within colonies adds another layer of complexity. While adult penguins are often agile enough to evade marine predators during foraging trips, chicks and eggs are vulnerable to skuas, giant petrels, and other opportunistic birds. Adults employ defensive strategies ranging from aggressive displays to forming protective circles around nests. The coordination required to defend territory, eggs, and chicks exemplifies the collective intelligence inherent in these massive communities. Communication within penguin colonies is both intricate and highly specialized. Vocal recognition allows parents to locate their chicks amid thousands of similar-looking individuals, a skill that can be likened to identifying a single voice in a roaring stadium. Beyond simple calls, penguins employ a variety of body gestures, head bobbing patterns, and synchronized movements to signal readiness, aggression, or courtship intent. These signals maintain order and cohesion, allowing colonies to function efficiently despite the immense density of birds in a relatively small area. Environmental pressures continually shape penguin society. Harsh winters, sudden storms, and fluctuating prey availability demand resilience and adaptability. Penguins exhibit remarkable flexibility in response to these conditions. In years of food scarcity, adults may adjust foraging ranges, spend longer periods at sea, or modify chick feeding schedules. Colonies may relocate temporarily or adjust spatial organization to maximize warmth and minimize exposure to the elements. These adaptive behaviors illustrate how social cooperation enhances survival in a habitat that would otherwise be inhospitable. Migration patterns vary among species, reflecting both environmental conditions and evolutionary strategy. Some penguins remain near their breeding grounds year-round, while others undertake long journeys across open ocean to exploit seasonal feeding opportunities. Emperor penguins, constrained by the Antarctic winter, traverse treacherous ice to reach breeding sites, whereas Adelie penguins may migrate hundreds of kilometers along the Antarctic coast in response to food availability. These movements demonstrate the penguins' intimate knowledge of their environment and their ability to navigate it with precision and endurance. The ecological significance of penguin colonies extends beyond their immediate survival. Penguins influence nutrient cycling through guano deposits, which enrich soils and support a range of terrestrial and marine organisms. By regulating prey populations through their hunting, they help maintain balance within the marine food web. The interplay between penguins, their predators, and their prey exemplifies the intricate interdependencies that sustain ecosystems. Human impact increasingly intersects with penguin life. Coastal development, commercial fishing, and climate change introduce new challenges, altering food availability and habitat structure. Conservation measures, including protected areas, sustainable fisheries, and monitoring programs, have become essential to ensure the survival of vulnerable populations. Penguins, with their conspicuous colonies and charismatic appeal, often serve as flagships for broader environmental conservation initiatives, highlighting the interconnectedness of species, habitats, and global ecological health. Observing penguin colonies reveals a mesmerizing blend of order, chaos, and beauty. From a distance, they resemble miniature cities, each bird playing its part in a vast social machine. Yet within this apparent uniformity, countless individual stories unfold, narratives of endurance, struggle, and triumph that repeat across generations. Chicks learning to swim, adults navigating perilous waters, and pairs coordinating to raise their young form the threads of a larger tapestry woven from millions of years of adaptation. As the sun arcs across the Antarctic sky, casting long shadows over ice and rock, penguins continue their relentless cycles. Each day is a testament to survival, a balance of risk and reward, instinct and learning, individual and community. Through these remarkable birds, we glimpse the delicate interplay between life and environment, a reminder that even in the most extreme conditions, nature thrives through innovation, resilience, and cooperation. As the seasons shift across the Southern Hemisphere, the fragile balance of life that penguins depend upon faces unprecedented challenges. Climate change, a force both invisible and immense, now shapes the very landscapes and seascapes that these birds have navigated for millions of years. Sea ice forms later and melts earlier, altering breeding grounds and reducing access to critical feeding areas. Warmer ocean temperatures shift the distribution of krill, the tiny crustaceans that form the backbone of Antarctic food webs, forcing penguins to travel farther and expend more energy to find nourishment. Even slight changes in environmental conditions ripple through colonies, affecting chick survival rates and adult health. The impact of human activity is compounded by other threats. Commercial fishing reduces prey availability, while plastic pollution and marine debris introduce hazards that penguins encounter daily. Entanglement in discarded fishing nets or ingestion of microplastics can be lethal, adding an additional layer of vulnerability to species already finely tuned to specific ecological niches. Despite these pressures, penguins display remarkable resilience, adapting through changes in foraging behavior, breeding timing, and migration routes. Observations reveal adults venturing farther into the ocean, diversifying their diets, and modifying nesting strategies to cope with shifting conditions. Penguins' ecological role extends far beyond their immediate survival. As mid-level predators, they regulate populations of fish and krill, maintaining the delicate balance of marine ecosystems. The guano fertilizes coastal soils, promoting plant growth that supports other species, while their predation influences prey behavior and distribution. The presence of penguins serves as a vital indicator of ocean health. Scientists rely on changes in population dynamics to assess the broader effects of environmental stressor. In this way, penguins are both participants in and monitors of the ecosystems they inhabit, linking land, ice, and sea in a tightly woven ecological tapestry. Cultural significance further elevates the penguin's profile. For centuries, humans have been captivated by the distinctive black and white plumage, upright posture, and striking social behaviors. Indigenous peoples in southern continents recognize penguins as symbols of resilience, adaptability, and guardianship over marine resources. In modern times, penguins feature prominently in literature, photography, wildlife documentaries, and conservation campaigns. They have become ambassadors of the Antarctic, representing both the beauty and vulnerability of Earth's polar regions. Their charm and resilience inspire global efforts to protect the very environments that sustain them. Scientific research continues to reveal new dimensions of penguin life. Satellite tracking, underwater observation, and long-term colony monitoring have uncovered intricate details of movement patterns, social organization, and hunting strategies. These studies emphasize the adaptability and intelligence of penguins, highlighting their capacity to thrive even under environmental stress while underscoring the fragility of their habitats. The more we understand these birds, the clearer it becomes that their survival is intimately tied to the broader health of the planet. The culmination of a penguin's life in the wild reflects the harmony of evolution, adaptation, and environment. Every dive, every hunt, and every parent-chick interaction is a testament to the extraordinary evolutionary path these birds have taken. They embody a unique intersection of flightless avian physiology and marine mastery, demonstrating that survival does not always require dominion of the skies. Their entire existence is a symphony of efficiency, coordination, and resilience, orchestrated across generations. In closing, penguins remind us of the interconnectedness of all life. From the smallest krill to the apex predators of the ocean, each species contributes to a complex network of energy, nutrients, and survival strategies. Penguins, with their distinctive adaptations, social complexity, and cultural resonance, occupy a central role in this web. Protecting them is not simply an act of wildlife conservation, it is a commitment to preserving the intricate balance of life across Earth's southernmost ecosystems. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting golden hues over the icy expanse, a colony of penguins continues its eternal cycle. Adults march with determined purpose, chicks huddle for warmth, and the ocean beckons with endless opportunity and peril. The story of the penguin is a story of endurance, adaptation, and the timeless struggle for survival. It is a story that echoes across continents, reminding humanity of the beauty, fragility, and resilience of the natural world. Through careful stewardship, research, and global awareness, the future of penguins can remain bright. These flightless, ocean-bound birds endure as symbols of life's astonishing versatility, evolutionary ingenuity, and the enduring splendor of the wild. They are not merely creatures of ice and sea, they are living testaments to the power of nature, the importance of ecological balance, and the unyielding spirit of survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth.